can begin.
Thank you everyone for taking the time out this afternoon to join us in a presentation of doing business with the city of Chicago, or what we call procurement fundamentals. In this presentation, we're going to take you through the overview of the department, the laws that govern the procurement process, which is a state law, and then the city's home rule authority under municipal code. We're going to go over some procurement terms, the types of procurement, briefly touch the different types of certification and what's required, contract monitoring and compliance, and programs and bid incentives. After that, I'll direct you to places where you can find more information on DPS's website, and we will entertain questions after that. Our overview: we are the contracting authority for procurement of goods and services for the city of Chicago. There are some individual departments that have their own procurement authority, but it is for specific items or services. So when they can't go through their own authority, they go through the Department of Procurement. We work together as a team with our customers, the city departments, to guarantee that it's an open, fair, and timely process by establishing, communicating, and enforcing superior business practices. Laws governing our process. As I mentioned before, one is a state statute. It's the Municipal Purchasing Act. The other is the city's home rule authority, which comes through the Municipal Code of Chicago and is specifically in Chapter 292. Some terms that you will hear. You will hear the term bid package in a competitive bid. What the bid package is a set of documents that's issued by the city to solicit bids for goods and services. Ultimately, that bid package becomes the agreement in a competitive bid. You will also hear addendum. Addendum is when there's a change to the city's requirements in the invitation of bid, or request for qualification, or request for proposals. Request for qualifications and request for proposals are types of procurement that we'll talk about later. The addendum is issued to everyone that has signed into iSupplier. The city is doing everything over e-procurement. So if you sign in and sign up for e-procurement and you're a part of a solicitation, you will receive an addendum. Contract. Contract is the ultimate, the final written agreement that you as a vendor would have with the city of Chicago for the provisions of goods and or services. And there are a number of different forms of contract. The next term is amendment or modification, which is different from addendum. The amendment or the modification formally changes terms and conditions in the actual contract. The addendum was the solicitation requirements. The amendment is the actual contract. And there are several different forms of amendments and modifications. One you might hear often comes up in construction contracts, and it's called a change order. The types of procurement that the city has. We have small orders, we have competitive bids, requests for proposals, also known as RFPs, requests for qualifications, RFQ, job order contract, which we call the job. The small orders contract are contracts with a threshold of less than or equal to $250,000. That's what the city plans to expend on the procurement of goods or services. We do have minority business enterprise and women business enterprise compliance on those particular small orders if the bid is for over an amount of $10,000. Competitive bids are formal bid solicitations that are greater than the 250,000 mark. So they're right above the small order threshold. By state statute, we are required to put in an advertisement in the Chicago Tribune newspaper in the daily classified section regarding the competitive bid. It will also be found on the website. Typically, it would be found in the bid and bond room. However, since the pandemic, as I previously stated, everything has been virtual. So it would be on iSupplier. The bid solicitation period for competitive bids is typically anywhere between 10 to 30 days. Some bids will require a deposit to be placed, and you will know that in your bid documents. Competitive bids, we have what we call a pre-bid meeting or pre-proposal conference. Those are optional, but we highly encourage bidders to attend. Part of that meeting could require you to do a site inspection of the work if it warrants it after the pre-bid meeting. But what's important about these meetings is you can come in, you can ask questions, you can go over and review the specifications, and as much as possible, procurement and the department will address your concerns. When those concerns are addressed, sometimes they result in an addendum, as we talked about before, where terms to the solicitation requirements are changed, or it can result in a clarification, which means that no terms are changed, but additional information is provided to make things clearer regarding the bid documents and the department's needs. The pre-bid meeting. If you do not have a pre-bid meeting, we do encourage you to review the specification and contract documents during that open bid solicitation period and contact the Department of Procurement Services, the contract administrator, if you have any questions. And if you have any questions when you don't go through a pre-bid meeting, those also may result in an addendum or an amendment. Read your bid documents thoroughly. I can't stress that enough. Make sure you're filling in all the required information. Make sure you're providing whatever supporting documentation is required to be submitted at the time of bids. Sign and execute the document, and the document must be notarized. But please pay close attention to your bid documents, as certain documents will be within the scope that say they have to be submitted at the time of execution or at the time of submission of bids, and if not, the bid could be rejected. Bid bonds or deposits may be required in some contracts, but they will not exceed 10% of the contract amount, and they have to be submitted in the proper form. All bids have to be timely, so please take the time out to start your bid response well in advance in case you have any questions or you run into any technical difficulties, or you can contact technical support, because they must be submitted on time, the day of and the time required. Bid openings occur Monday through Friday, with the exception of any major holidays, at 11 a.m. Currently, they are all being done virtually online. The general procedure is that bids are opened and read out loud. They're tabulated. And then those tabulation and bid documents will be reviewed for accuracy and completeness. All bid tabulations you will be able to view it online on the DPS's website 24 hours after the bid opening has occurred. Once the bids have been reviewed for accuracy, we begin the award process. Competitive bids are awarded to the bidder that is the lowest responsive and responsible bidder. The department will make a recommendation of award. Those bids will be packaged up. If we need to collect a performance and payment bond or insurance requirements, those will be obtained at that time, and then the documents will be routed through the signature approval process. Right now, contract documents have to be signed by the CPO, the comptroller, and the mayor's office. And at that time, the contract will be awarded to the lowest responsive or responsible bidder that has met the city's specification. Our next vehicle of procurement is a request for proposal. We use this vehicle to implement new projects that require professional services. In this case, the city doesn't have the technical expertise to actually implement these projects or services, so they define project objectives in a very narrow scope, but they cannot detail every aspect of implementing the project. That's the bidder's job. The bidder has to explain how they will implement this for the city. It requires a detailed evaluation of proposals by an evaluation committee, and the evaluation is done based on criteria that you will actually see set forth in the RFP. Unlike competitive bids, low price is not the only factor. So in an RFP, you could have a higher price than the bidder or the responder with the lowest price and still be awarded the contract. These particular contracts are awarded to the highest rated and ranked responder. Requests for qualifications or RFQs. We use this when we're looking for companies that have a certain level or a very high degree of technical expertise and knowledge. You will often see these when the city goes out for architectural engineering design contracts and certain categories of consulting. The city will pre-qualify companies to build a vendor pool to respond to future task orders. And an evaluation and selection is based on the qualifications and the technical competence that a vendor has. There are no cost proposals for architectural and engineering and RFQs. Those fee schedules are set up later or negotiated later as a part of the master agreement. The job order contract is a form of a competitive bid because it's firm, it's a fixed price, it's competitively bid, and it has indefinite quantities or estimated quantities. We use this for small to medium-sized projects, so we don't have to bid out every small or medium construction job and develop plans and technical specifications. We will solicit general contractors to respond to an advertised job specification. It contains a unit price book, which has various construction tasks in it with a description and a unit of measure and unit price for each task. The bidder will bid an adjustment to work hours on a job order contract. Economic disclosure statements are required for our contracts. There are certain rules and regulations that may provide an exception from entities having to file an economic disclosure statement, but otherwise they are required. They are the city's way of determining ownership of a company. We do require that they be done online. They also address certain matters that would tell the city whether or not they can do business with a particular entity or if that entity isn't eligible to do business with the city. Who has to complete economic disclosure statements? It's the entity that's applying, as well as any legal entity that owns more than 7.5% interest directly or indirectly in the applicant firm. Certification. We have certifications for minority, for women, for business enterprises owned by people with disabilities, disadvantaged business enterprises, airport concession disadvantaged business enterprises, as well as veteran-owned business enterprises. I am just going to generally talk about the basic eligibility requirements because certification is actually a presentation, a separate presentation in itself. But the basic requirements is you have to be 51% owned and controlled by a qualifying minority, women, veteran, individuals with disability, or other disadvantaged individual firm. Businesses have to also be a small business. They have to be independent and they have to be viable. Minority, women, and disadvantaged and even veteran-owned business enterprises are required on city contract. You will see a city contract, you will see a document called special conditions. In the special conditions, it will tell the contract specific goals for participation of these entities. If a vendor does not request that those percentages be lowered or waived, failure to allow that percentage of EBE participation could result in liquidated damages. So we strongly encourage firms to use minority firms. The regulations 292-420, 292-650 of the municipal code is what governs minority and women-owned businesses, one in construction and the other in non-construction contracts. When you hear the term disadvantaged business enterprise, that's consistent with federal regulations, and that's found at 49 CFR Part 26. The City of Chicago, Department of Procurement Services, we do count MBWBE expenditures towards the goals on the contract. But in order to have those goals counted, the minority or disadvantaged firm has to perform a commercially useful function. A commercially useful function is the firm is certified and they perform a commercially useful function when they're responsible for the execution of a very distinct element of the work. And it has to be carried out by that firm actually performing it, managing, and supervising the work or fulfilling the responsibilities as a joint venture. A contractor cannot be entitled to a reduction or waiver of these goals during the performance of the contract, after substantial completion of the contract, or at the time of contract closeout, unless that contractor has in writing made a request to the CPO to reduce or waive these requirements. If a contractor is seeking a waiver or reduction of MB and WBE goals, they have to demonstrate that they've made good faith efforts to utilize these entities. And what it means to have a good faith effort will be spelled out in your special conditions. Contract monitoring and compliance. The city does monitor your compliance for utilizing MBWBs and DBs that you have listed on the compliance plan. They also monitor the Chicago Residency Ordinance and Equal Employment Opportunities. The Chicago Residency Ordinance pertains to construction contracts that are city funded and over $100,000. What that means, or what that requires, is that 50% of the total work hours have to be performed by actual residents of the city of Chicago, and 7.5% of the total work hours has to be performed by project area residents. The equal employment opportunity, in order to promote equality of opportunity for minority and female personnel on city-funded construction projects, an award criteria determination has to be made and inserted into each contract that's estimated at $100,000 or more. There is a cap on the formula in the city contract for canvassing purposes, but the bidders are invited to propose the minority and female employee utilization goals beyond that cap. The prime contractor, if you want to achieve compliance on an actual contract, the prime contractor is an MB, WBE, or DBE. The joint venture, or you can joint venture with the MB, WBE, or DBE. And then you can subcontract a portion of the work to one or more MB, WBEs, or DBEs. And then purchasing materials that are used in the performance of the contract from one or more MB, WBEs. Reporting requirements. You have to report certain things in participating in the contract. You have to report monthly subcontractor payment certification, weekly certified payrolls, and waivers of load. The city has a number of programs, bid incentive programs, and again, this too is its own presentation in itself. But it's Small Business Initiative Construction, Mid-Sized Business Initiative Construction, Non-Construction MBI programs, Diversity Credit Program, the Target Market Program, the Mentor Protege programs, and MBWBE phase graduation programs. Our bid incentives, we have incentives, and what incentives mean is when you bid on a contract, a incentive might be, I qualify as a city-based business. I qualify for, I think the city-based business comes in 4%, 6%, and 8%. I qualify for the 6% incentive. What we do when we're doing your bid is we take 6% from the amount proposed. That does not have to do anything with what the city pays. The city pays what you bid. However, when we take the 6% off of the bid provided, you might become the lowest bidder if you were the second bidder. And that's how incentives work. So we have a veteran-owned business enterprise incentive, a local business, JV and BBE, a veteran-owned subcontractor utilization, a business enterprise owned by people with disability, city-based business manufacturer, city-based business, apprentice utilization, alternatively powered vehicles, mentor protege program, project area subcontractor utilization, equal employment opportunity, incentive to encourage utilization of MBWBs, and then diverse workforce and management incentives. There are enhanced reporting, diversity reporting per executive order on the contract, where contractors have to submit projections as to when and to what extent they're going to use the subcontractors that are certified in areas on their contract. If they can't meet those goals, they have to include an explanation and a recovery plan if they go below that usage. And then you have the diversity reporting, where contractors that have agreements with the city are required to submit annual reports of their business diversity programs or the lack thereof. They also have to include information as to expenditures on goods and services from minority-owned firms and women-owned firms during a prior calendar year. And next is the DPS website. If there's anything you want to know, go to the DPS website. There's very detailed information on the website about the rules, about the regulations, about any bid incentive programs, and if you qualify or how to qualify. If you're looking for minority and women-owned and veteran firms, we have a directory that you can search. The weekly bid opportunities are there, bid tabulations, how much vendors are being paid are on our website, what contracts were awarded, and then what modifications to those contracts there were. So I will turn it over to Jackie at this point to address any questions that you may have.
Thank you so much, Brittany. I am going to go ahead and press my enter key. And in the chat area are those links. So if you want to copy those down. Let me get to the questions that, because you do have just a few questions here, so that we can make sure. Just a second. There we go. We have a question that says, what is the difference between WBE certification and DBE certification?
I can actually, Jackie, if you get that question to me in the end, I can actually connect you with our certification department, and they can go through all the differences in the certification.
And I can sort of help out here too. If you want to go to, I don't know if you were on earlier when I was talking about those resource guides, but if you would like to go to those resource guides at chicago.gov/DPS guides, there is a guide on certification, and it goes through each of the certification groups. There are 6 of them, and it goes through each one of them so that you know what each is. If you're asking what the name of the certification or the qualifications of the certification, you should be able to find both there. Okay, so I hope that helps you. And if it does not, we will definitely reach out to you and make sure you have the proper information. Okay. I see that, let me just check one more here. I do not see any more, so I'm going to give them a few minutes, Brittany, to type out their questions, and then I'll come back to the question area.
I'll just add, Jackie,
Sure.
you know, as I stated before, I think the confusion might be when you DBE, those are federally funded contracts. So you will find that African American, Hispanics, and Native Americans, or all of those, are still qualified as socio and economically disadvantaged. But the DBE regs are federal regulations.
All righty. And like Brittany said, we do have also a workshop, and it was actually yesterday, how to become certified, and they go over extensively on all of that. So if you are interested, I would say to you, go online and go to youtube.com/ Chicago DPS. And once you get to the Chicago DPS landing page, look for the folder that says 2022 workshops, DPS workshops, and then look for how to become certified and just quickly go through that. And they also, in that, you don't want to get the guide down and read it yourself. They go through all 6 of the various certifications, what you need, what they are, again, as a review. So that's a good way to get that information. If you would use the Q&A, I'm going to read the one that's in my chat, but if everyone can use the Q&A area for your questions, so that we don't go back and forth between them. I don't want to miss anyone's question, but this person has 2 questions. The link to access Chicago Contract Opportunity Search is unavailable. Is there another site to visit to find more local contracting opportunities? I'm not sure what you mean by unavailable, because the DPS contracting opportunities under DPS bids should be an area where you can get in. You have to put in the www.chicago.gov/bids. Should actually work. But if you're signed up for the DPS alerts, you can find the contracting opportunities at the bottom of the alert. It says bid opportunity. You can click on the picture or you can click on the link, and it will take you to the bid opportunity list, which will give you the opportunities that were put out that week. We also have the buying plan. You can go to www.chicago.gov. You notice all of them start with chicago.gov/DPS. And on that page, you can find the icon that says buying plan. Click on that, and that has contracting opportunities. So it is a host of different ways that you can find contracting opportunities. Even if you typed in City of Chicago Department of Procurement Service contracting opportunities, it should take you right where you need to be for that. So hopefully you'll be able to find that. This person says, I just graduated high school and knowledge on winning bids and searching for opportunities in NEIL. I need guidance. Okay. You just graduated from high school and you got some information about how to win a bid and search for opportunities. The opportunities that we have in here, I'm not sure which side you fall on, but the opportunities we're talking about through the bid opportunity list or the help me out, Brittany, here, the bid opportunity list or the buying plan, that's what I was trying to say, are for actual businesses. So, if you're trying to start a business, which you could possibly be trying to do, if you're trying to start a business, then I would suggest to you first to read those DPS guides. Start with the first one, contract opportunities, and then go on through to incentives and programs, and then certification, and then compliance. And then that picture will make a lot more sense to you of what you need to do there. If you're looking for an opportunity, being a part of an organization, you have some skills and you would like to work on projects for the government through a organization, I should say a company, and you don't know how to get with that company, I would suggest that you also attend our classes on working with assist agencies, because we have workforce development assist agencies that can help you get into different construction or businesses of any sort. They can help you get into those businesses, and then you will be able to attend different workforce development type uh, uh, conferences where you can see different vendors and shop your skills if that's what you're trying to do. So, depending on what you are trying to do, there's an answer for you. I do feel that you first need to go through the procurement process and read those DPS guides, and then go over to our buying plan area and kind of peruse that, because you'll have a better understanding. And in the back of the buying plan, we have our assist agencies, and find the one nearest you and reach out to them and begin to ask your questions. Hopefully that'll help you. If there are any more questions, feel free to put them at the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. While I am going to give you a few more minutes to do that, I want to thank Brittany Mason for imparting that great information out to us. Hopefully you all got some information today that you didn't have before. Hopefully you can use that information to do business with city government. I don't at the current time see any additional questions. So I would say to you, this presentation will be up on Friday or somewhere therein. I hope I can get it up by tomorrow. If not, there are some current ones up there from this year that you can look at. These will be up the following week. We have a construction summit coming up, and I want to make sure that we are giving every effort toward that at the current time. But we will be putting these up as we can get them up online. The PowerPoints will be up as well. So if you're looking for that, they will be up soon as well. Hopefully you all got information from that. So thank you for attending today. We hope to see you back at another workshop. Feel free to sign up for DPS alerts so that you know when these workshops are, or just go to our area, chicago.gov/DPS, and look for DPS training. And that'll give you more information. Thanks so much to Brittany. Thanks so much to our participants. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Stay safe, stay well, and we look forward. Did someone send me a question? We got one more question here. Oh, someone said thank you. Thank you. And have a wonderful rest of the day. Take care, everyone.